Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Dr. Dawn Michael. For those of you who are longtime listeners, welcome back. And for those of you that are new, I hope that you enjoy this show. Please remember to give me a thumbs up if you like what you are hearing, subscribe to my channel, and of course, leave your comment. Today, I'm going to be doing a part 2 to last week's video, so if you have not had a chance to watch it, please take a moment. I have gotten many requests to do a part 2. So today we're going to continue on basically talking about how a man can have more sex with his wife, more quality, more intimacy, and what are some of the things that he can do that might work, and some of the things that she can do that will contribute to having a better sexual relationship. And one of the questions that I get asked quite often, and I did answer this in previous videos, which is what is the normal amount of times that couples have sex during the week, during the month? What is quote unquote normal? And the reality of the situation is it's really based on the couple themselves. So each couple is different. If you, in the beginning of your relationship, or throughout the first couple years of your relationship, had consistent sex, whether it was every day, every other day, 3 times a week, once a week, a couple times a month, whatever that pattern was, is really what your normal is, and something that you can work towards achieving now in your relationship. If you never had sex every day, or if your sex life was maybe once a week in the beginning, this expectation that you're all of a sudden going to be having this very active sex life is probably not going to happen. And also the realization that depending on how long you've been together and at what age that you met, it may decrease a little bit from that as well. But to say that it's going to go from you having sex several times a week to having sex once a month, that's not normal for the two of you, and that is going to create a problem in your marriage. And it's important to note that once you have some type of a pattern and then you stop having that pattern for a long period of time, the person who's wanting to continue that pattern is going to feel left out or going to feel rejected. There's going to be some type of resentment, and possibly the person who is the one saying, hey, I don't want to have sex as often as we used to have sex as often, needs to understand that that's something that they had before. And why has it changed? Like, what are some of the things that have changed in their lives? Is it that their bodies have changed? Is it that they just don't have the desire anymore, or that the excitement is not there? So there really needs to be a reason why the two of you in your marriage are no longer having active sex like you used to. And I've heard sometimes where husbands, of course, will say that they are too sexually active, or they want to have sex too often with their wives, and they are labeled as being either a sex addict, or that they should slow down and not want to have sex as much. And that's not really fair, especially if the couple was very active sexually in the beginning. So there needs to be some negotiation and a happy medium for the couple. But also, let's say that the woman is no longer feeling the desire that she used to have. Well, that certainly could be something that is medically related, or the fact that she really needs to understand how she can get that desire back and work on that, because it's not okay to have one person wanting it and the other person not. And so it really can create friction in a marriage. It can create some real problems and some hurt feelings. Now, with that being said, let's go back to some of the things that the couple can do. And that again is, let's say in the beginning of your relationship, now I'm talking to the man, you wooed your wife more, you dated her more, you brought her flowers, you did things for her, you were more actively involved in what she had to say, so that you were playing a part in the relationship where perhaps you're not doing that anymore. And that's something that she needs in order to feel connected and want to be intimate. And so you have to also go back into time and go, okay, why was it that she wanted to be sexually active with me more often back then and desired me? Was I doing something different back then that I'm not doing now? And how can I kind of go back to that point? Well, obviously you can't go back, but how can you try to do some of the things that maybe you did before? Because it definitely takes two to tango. And so if you're looking for the other person saying, hey, you know, you did so and so and were more sexually active back then, but now you're not, perhaps you were doing other things too that were turning her on. Also, our bodies change as we get older, especially women that have gone through pregnancies, raising children. The body changes, the mind changes, your situation in life changes, and so you have to adjust to that. And also, there's this idea of resentment. Now, men, I'm going to tell you this right now. Women oftentimes will tell you what they're unhappy about, or they will tell you something that's bothering them. And if you keep pushing it under the table, or you tell them, no, that shouldn't be bothering them, or you don't resolve it with them, then the chances are they're not going to want to be sexually intimate with you as often, because they feel like you're not hearing what they're saying. They're not being heard. And so you really need to listen. If she's telling you something over and over that you're not doing, don't just poo-poo it and, you know, say, I'll get to it another time. Actively try to resolve the problem and sit down with her and have a conversation and say, okay, you've told me this several times. Let's try to work through it. That will make a big difference, because then she'll know you're caring about her, you're trying to resolve the issue. And once you do, she's going to feel more intimate and loving towards you. So many times women really do say what they're feeling to that extent. And if you think about it, maybe write it down, like, wait, all the things that she's been telling me the past couple years that I've been ignoring, maybe I should pay attention to her, because maybe that's why our sex life isn't that great. So that's another tip that's really important, and something that I work with couples when they come into my office is they discover things that are unresolved issues or resentments, and they work through it. And there's something that you may be able to work through on your own, or it's something that you may need some help with and to get some counseling. Because if you can get this out of the way and you can resolve these problems, then your sex life is going to be much better, and you're going to have much more quality sex, more intimacy, and so on and so forth. Another part is sex education, and that's something that I teach couples as well. As you age, your bodies change, your mind changes, and something that may have felt good a couple years back, or 10 years or 20 years ago, may not feel good anymore. So it's really a nice thing to talk to your spouse and maybe explore some different ways that you can touch each other, where instead of it just being that you're having intercourse or you're having sex, you're exploring each other's bodies a little more, kissing, hugging, touching, and getting to know what turns the other person on, because perhaps you're not turning them on anymore and they don't want to tell you because maybe they think that you should know, or there's some embarrassment factor there. So if the two of you can really talk about this a little more openly, you might discover that you can spice up your sex life a little bit more, or make it more pleasurable by exploring each other's bodies, something that you haven't done in a while. And it is embarrassing for couples that have been married for a while to actually talk about this now. I mean, sometimes people get very shy, but it is important to do. And again, if you need somebody to help facilitate that, you may want to go see a counselor for a couple of sessions just to get the conversation started, and then the two of you can continue to talk about it and explore each other's minds and bodies again. And really, it's a lot of fun. When I've worked with couples who take the time to do this, they come back and they say, you know what, I didn't realize that I liked, being kissed on my neck, or I liked to be touched softly. It was a good experience that my husband and I tried this and got to know each other on a different level. So these are some more tips that you can do. Another thing too, if you're a couple that maybe has kids and you want some privacy, it is important that you start with that early on, where you say this is time for mom and dad to have some time together, and you make it a priority, and they see that you as parents appreciate, love each other, and you have that boundary. And that could be where you have a little do not disturb sign that you put on your door. And this could be something that you do as the kids get older, and they will know that, you don't have to tell them what you're doing, but basically this is just time when mom and dad go to the bedroom and they spend time together, and the kids know that, do not disturb. And it is important that you do this for your marriage, because your marriage comes first. It's there before you have the kids, and you want the marriage to be there after the kids are out of the house. So these are all important steps that you can take in promoting the intimacy, making the marriage come first, and it will also positively impact the family, because instead of fighting, you'll be happy with each other, loving towards each other, and it really does affect the entire atmosphere and in your relationship. So I hope that you've gotten something from this video, and please leave your comment if you are interested in some more information. Give me a like, a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to my channel. As you know, I believe everyone deserves to have a healthy sex life, and so do you. Make it a great day.